Hey everybody, Some Gadget Guy here, somegadgetguy.com, and we just recently moved into our new place in sunny Southern California, nice little condo. But that comes with a small problem. Our new place isn't substantially larger than our old place was, but it's arranged in a much longer configuration with many more walls separating my back office area from the front of the condo where our living room, TV, PlayStation, and where we do a lot of our casual computing, laptops and tablets on the couch kind of a thing. So while our Wi-Fi reaches our living room now, our speeds have been radically reduced. But one solution which did seem very interesting, very compelling, was pushing our internet through our electrical outlets. So I reached out to the fine folks over at TRENDnet and they sent me a Powerline kit, which does precisely that. Specifically, this is the TPL407E2K, which is their top of the line Powerline kit. It includes two little adapters that you can hook up to a router and to another Ethernet connected device. And they're claiming up to a 500 megabit connection. Of course, there were a few caveats on that. I've already been playing with these for about a week or so we can chuck the box and we can move directly on to talking about the Powerline adapters. Each is a very, very simple affair. You plug something into an outlet, you have a port on the front so you don't lose that outlet, you have an Ethernet connector down at the bottom, and you have a reset switch on the side. And so on this front face, we've got three little LED notification lights. One is just to show that you've got power, one shows the connection quality, and then the other is sort of that same Ethernet flasher that we would see on a router just to show that the units are communicating with each other. Super, super simple. And as soon as both of these are connected, they'll instantly find each other on your home electrical outlets. You plug one into your router, you plug one into something else, like a PlayStation 3, for example, and then you'll be able to start transmitting information over your electrical sockets. Living in a condo, the air around our unit is extremely congested with a number of people rocking Wi-Fi routers, most of them dual band too, so I don't even have clean air at 5 gigahertz, and I'm very, very cluttered at 2.4 gigahertz. Transmitting a Wi-Fi signal out to my PS3, I could often burst as high as 10 megabits per second, but usually that would settle down to around 5 megabits per second on any kind of speed test. And unfortunately, Wi-Fi in that kind of scenario doesn't really provide a very consistent throughput. And I'm sure many of you have experienced this when you're in the middle of streaming a movie on Netflix and the quality starts to degrade as your connection is starting to get a bit flaky. So I've been using Powerline for about a week now to connect my router to my PS3, and the results have been fairly positive. As with any kind of home networking solution, the distance between your router and the devices that are trying to communicate with it can play a huge factor in the quality of the signal that you're trying to maintain. And Powerline really isn't much of an exception, especially as there are a number of different walls in between my router and my PS3 that the electrical signal sort of has to jump over. Especially once you start crossing breakers and circuits like that, it's going to degrade the quality of your signal as well. However, I'm still able to pull about 40 to 50% more bandwidth out of Powerline than I am out of Wi-Fi, coupled with the fact that that connection seems to be far more consistent, and Powerline becomes a much more interesting alternative to some of the other wireless adapters and range extenders that I've played with in the past. So due to the funky layout of our condo and the fact that I've got to keep my cable modem in the back corner of our office, I haven't been able to find a consistent way to get full throughput, our 30 megabit connection all the way out into the living room. And if we install Powerline into one of the sockets closest to our TV, I'm only really getting about a third of our total bandwidth. However, moving Powerline across various electrical outlets within our condo, I did find a couple sockets where I was getting almost full speed, especially on outlets that share the same wall on that back corner of our condo unit, which makes the notion of possibly running a router in our living room far more feasible, again, when we don't have to run a ton of Ethernet all across our home, especially when compared against the number of other wireless options that we have out on the market to try and improve our home networking. The street price of around $75 does make this fairly competitive. And even though it will run into some of its own issues as you cross circuits and breakers, I have found that Powerline is far more stable than any of those wireless extenders that I've tried to incorporate into our home network. You can always check out TRENDnet.com. I'll leave a link down below this video if you want a little extra information on Powerline networking solutions for your home or business. I've been very impressed, and this has certainly helped us keep those Netflix movies streaming to our TV. So now, if you'll excuse me, I have to plug this back in so I can continue to power my PS3. As always, folks, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all on the next review. But one has to wonder, what would happen if we plugged a Powerline Ethernet adapter into another Powerline Ethernet adapter? Well, I guess it would have had to have been plugged into the wall for anything weird to happen. Okay.